Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. I'm Andy Wilson. I'm the Executive Director, and thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate the support that you're giving us, and thank you again. It means so much to all of us here at Doing Business in Bentonville. Okay, my guest today is Brendan Howe. Brendan, welcome.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, this is going to be great because I have been on the site, okay? And we're going to talk about what Brendan's doing, but before we get into that, we've got to talk about, okay, Brendan, you're from New Zealand, correct?
Yes, born and raised in New Zealand.
Okay, all right. Well, I heard that you had quite a trip to get to Arkansas. How did you get to Arkansas?
Well, just the usual method, New Zealand, San Francisco, Miami, Arkansas.
I love it. Okay, I don't know too many people who's made that round, but we're glad you're in Northwest Arkansas. Welcome to Arkansas, and we're glad. I got to visit Brendan's space that we're going to get into a bit. It's still under construction, but let's talk about you first before we get into this new thing. Now, you've been an entrepreneur for over 10 years?
Yes, correct.
All right, wonderful. Well, what are some of the things that you have invested in and created? So talk about some of that technology stuff that you've been involved in.
Yeah, so I've been in the startup space, as you mentioned, for the last 10 years. That was how I ended up in the US originally. So my brother and I created a fan engagement platform called Dropit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 60-second reverse auction. And we developed it in New Zealand, and then I came to the US, landed in San Francisco, and we did a lot of product development with the 49ers at the Levi Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got that product right. We got it live. Did a season with the Phoenix Suns, and then did some Major League Baseball work, and then eventually ended up doing activations in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite a journey. It was quite a sort of baptism by fire coming into the US technology market from New Zealand,
Right.
and then working with these major league teams. It was very interesting.
Right. I can't imagine. And, when I was researching that product that it's fascinating.
It was something that we created to really sort of engage fans in live event setting.
Yes.
The sort of whole premise, how that worked was it was a 60-second reverse auction.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd auction off things like, if you're in a Phoenix Suns game, we could auction off courtside seat upgrades and a locker room tour. So things that you couldn't necessarily buy.
Right.
It'd start at full price. So I think that package was around $2,000.
Mm.
And then every second the price would drop.
Mm-hmm.
So the game is in 60 seconds, the price is zero. So you wait as long as you can for the price to drop. But the first bidder ends the auction.
Mm.
So you're in a game of chicken against everyone, but you have to hold your finger on the screen the whole time.
Yeah.
So and then when someone ends the auction, everyone's phones explode, the video boards explode, and the winner's face comes up.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Well, that had to be fun.
It was super fun, but it was also super interesting because we got a lot of data for the brand partners.
Right.
So we can tell who's engaging, what they're engaging in,
Right.
how long they're engaging for.
Right.
And we'd provide bounce back offers afterwards.
Right.
So like with Mitsubishi, we drove people into the dealerships to go and take test drives. So it was quite a valuable tool for actually gaining insights into the consumers.
I enjoy talking to entrepreneurs because your vision, you probably don't sleep very much. You're probably awake. You're thinking all the time. Is that pretty close?
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking going on here.
Yeah.
So it's not that sensible.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my great friends, he's an entrepreneur, and he called me yesterday, and he said, I couldn't sleep. I went, don't tell me, because I know it's another project, because he didn't sleep. So it's another idea, right?
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Okay, one of the things I want to ask you about before we get into this thing is that you worked in the New Zealand aircraft industry.
Yes, that was my kind of original career was aircraft engineering.
Yes.
So I used to work for Air New Zealand, the company that Greg Foran works for.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly where I was going with this. I have to mention Greg.
Yeah.
We worked together at Walmart, so we love Greg.
Right, yeah. So I haven't actually had the opportunity to connect with Greg yet, but I think I'm going to when I head back to New Zealand next month.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I tell you, Greg did a great job at Walmart. He really did. Associates loved him, and we all did. And he was so passionate about retail, and he made such wonderful impact on Walmart. And now I'm happy that now I know someone that knows him. So that's put you two guys together. So yeah, perfect. All right. Now what we want to do, we want to move to your latest launch. Now, Lowloff. Okay, so let's just talk about Lowloff. I had the opportunity for our guests to actually get a tour of the facility recently, and I'm telling you, I'm very excited for us to get into this. So talk about Lowloff. What's your mission around Lowloff?
So really, it's a solution to a problem that a lot of companies have. Maybe it'd be helpful to sort of tell a backstory about how we created the concept.
Absolutely, please.
So in 2019, I took a partial exit from Dropit, the fan engagement platform, and then started importing face masks during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot of business importing product from China, and then we thought, hey, why don't we actually make these things in the US? So that was part of my engineering background kicking in. I love machines, and I'm really bullish about bringing manufacturing back onshore. So invested in some equipment for manufacturing, and then a friend had just moved here and said, hey, you should come and check this part of the world out. Could be a good place to set the factory up. So we ordered the equipment, turned up in town, and then we had a minor problem. We had nowhere to set up. So we needed about 5,000 square feet for a year.
Right.
But we'd come from outside the property business, so we didn't understand that you just can't get 5,000 square feet for a year.
Right.
So basically, I harassed all the local realtors and then got a meeting with a gentleman, Bill Stribling. He's got a 280,000 square foot facility just by Sam's Club in Rogers. And he let us build a 2,000 square foot micro assembly plant in the middle. So it was literally me and the father-in-law ground the concrete. I epoxied for 6 hours straight, which I'll never do again. It's like rolling chewing gum. And then we dropped the ceiling down, put a PVC curtain around, and created a clean room in the middle of this big kind of just normal sort of grubby warehouse. And then people saw what we'd done and asked if they could share the space. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for me, because I thought, this looks like there's demand for this. Why don't we combine the concept of office co-working with warehousing? And that's essentially what we did. So it was just a solution to a problem that we had.
Wow.
It turns out a lot of other companies have the same issue.
Well, okay, this facility that is located in Rogers, Arkansas,
Yes.
correct? And so again, describe that. It's you have different size space. So if I have product, and I have outgrown my garage, okay, and I need a place to work. I need technology. I need a place to meet clients. I need all that. So walk us through that part of your mission there with how you're going to service those needs.
Okay, so basically the front 10 to 15% it's kind of like common space and like an office co-working environment. So kind of similar to what you said, the ledger. Now we have the reception space, we have hot desk areas to work from, shared kitchen space, conference room space. So that's all available to the members that have the micro warehouses out the back.
Right.
We also have dedicated offices for companies that just need office space, or you may need a warehouse plus an office. And then the main kind of nuts and bolts of the place is these micro warehouses. So they range from 150 square feet up to 1,500 square feet. And they're available to rent on a monthly basis.
Okay.
So we've really kind of introduced a ton of flexibility into the model. And the location's fully staffed as well. So we have a community lead out front that welcomes people in. If you've got a meeting, check them in, get them set up.
All right.
Just kind of runs the location to make sure all the members have everything they need. And then we have a warehouse manager. So they assist with unloading, loading. If you're a member that has space with us and you're not there when a shipment comes in, we'll receive it for you and we can put it away also. That's all included in the cost.
Wow.
So we really kind of take a lot of the bottlenecks out of the basic logistics for small companies and, as we're discovering, even large companies that want a small footprint.
Right. Well, as you know, supply chain, we've had lots of issues, especially since COVID, and this concept looks like to me that you're going to be able to fill this gap. There's a gap there. You're going to be able to fill this gap. That's huge. So how are you reaching out and to potential clients? How are you marketing to that? Then I want to get into when is this going to be ready and when it's going to be open and all that, and then we'll talk about this whole process around this what you call this ecosystem of warehousing. So
so there's a few different ways we get people on board, new members. One of the keys is to engage the local community.
Okay.
So we're very engaged with like Startup Junkie, and a few of the other entrepreneur support organizations.
Right.
The University of Arkansas, through our investors like Runway Group have been very supportive and sending people through to us.
Good.
So and the real estate websites like LoopNet, and we also have campaigns running on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Ad campaigns. So there's kind of like a number of different sources that feed into the funnel. But we are open now. So 1st of September.
Okay.
Yes.
You open.
So the doors are open.
Awesome.
In the first 2 weeks, we achieved occupancy of just over 30%. So our target was 13%.
Okay.
And our target for the end of October is 27%. So we're actually, in the first 2 weeks, we achieved our first 2 months of target occupancy.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we want to help you too. And of course, we'll post all this information because you have the podcast. Plus, we'll post all this on our website because we want to help get the word out because there's such a need, in this space. So now, so let's talk about then the technology about this. And you talked about the people who are going to coming in, they're received. How are you going to track all that? How's that all going to work for your clients?
So currently we have a platform that if any packages come in, we scan them, and then the members get notified that there's a package there for them. So the technology layer is very light right now, but in my last startup, Dropit, I ran the engineering team. We built the whole platform from scratch.
Okay.
So personally, I've got a lot of experience in developing applications and running the engineers to achieve the business outcomes. So we've got some pretty bold plans around the technology layer for the business, around warehouse management systems, different tools for picking and packing, shipping, and also for ourselves for site selection. So we're building out a very robust technology platform to both help us select locations and help our members in the location gain access to enterprise tools that they wouldn't normally be able to access to help their businesses.
Right. Wonderful. One of the things doing business in Bentonville, our mission is about demystifying omni-channel. Omni-channel, as you know, is huge, just major. It's how we do life today and how we order, and all. So let's talk about omni-channel for a moment. How does your mission and your organization fit into this omni-channel phenomena, this experience? How's that work?
There's a couple of different ways we can kind of support that. With the way we're selecting locations, we're really positioning ourselves as last mile delivery micro hubs. So we're not targeting traditional warehouse sort of parks or industrial zones. We're really more focused on being in suburban environments. So that's where the downtown Rogers location is ideal. It's kind of in a place where a warehouse probably shouldn't be, which means there's a lot of consumers around. That makes it a great spot for grocery distribution, on a small scale.
Sure.
And part of that site selection process is looking at assets that are underutilized. So we've got a big focus on retail boxes.
Makes sense.
Converting retail boxes into our concept, because we find there are good locations. There's a lot of built-up population around them. There's plenty of parking.
Right.
And we can get them cheap.
And as you know, I know you track this, and Walmart is a major focus right now about expanding the assortment. They just had this huge event in Las Vegas where they focused on, people that is starting up, that's new, getting into this whole omni-channel space. So it's perfect timing. It seems to be perfect timing, not just because Walmart's focused on it, but I think from the consumer, our expectation of getting our product in a day and no more than two, maybe the same day even. And that your organization, your facility gives that opportunity to have same day delivery, correct?
Exactly, yeah. And that's a big focus for us is that rapid delivery.
Yes.
That's why we're, as I mentioned, positioning ourselves near built-up urban areas. We had a drone company come down a couple of weeks ago for that exact reason.
Yes.
because we've got quite a captive audience around us.
You do. Well, and I think this is what led me to the next question. What sets Lowloff apart from other companies similar? And you've already talked about a lot of the how you focus on the client and receiving merchandise if they're not there, all of that. What are other components that sets Lowloff apart?
One big thing is there's very few providers in the space that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Just the scarcity of companies like ours is one of the sort of main drivers. But I mean, if companies are looking for a solution, there's really, you can work from home. You can try to work from a storage unit. You can try 3PL or a 5-year lease.
Oh, okay.
So there's not really many options, and they're all quite restrictive. And we've actually had companies that have taken that journey, work from home, tried storage, tried 3PL, and then come to us.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, we are...
Get out of the house. I got to have the garage back.
So it's funny because initially we built it because we refer to Lowloff as a platform because we really see ourselves as a physical version of a platform.
Right.
There's so many different use cases for us. Like, we've got small companies selling products online. We've got a company in there that services all the Starbucks coffee machines in the region. So they've set up a microservice center. We've got a couple of computer vision companies in there. We've got some like final assembly operations going on. And we've got some cold storage. So it's a massive spread of companies. So but we kind of see ourselves as like the picks and shovels of the gold rush. We're really providing access to tools that companies don't otherwise have access to. There's that. And then the other piece, like on just sort of a head-to-head comparison of any of our competitors, we're very design forward. We try to create a nice aesthetic. And my background's been, I grew up around dirty mechanics workshops, playing with cars when I was a kid, covered in grease, head to toe. And then I went to the aircraft industry, which was a little cleaner, but it's still pretty grubby.
Right.
And I kind of thought there's no reason why we can't have a beautiful workspace, but still provide access that people require to run their businesses. So that's why, as people see in the photos or in the videos that you're going to post, there's a lot of natural timber, a lot of greenery. We cut holes in the warehouse wherever we can to let natural light in.
Right, I love it.
So we really try to create a nice, positive working environment. Because another reason is people spend so much of their time at work. Why not make it a nice environment?
I agree. Awesome. Okay, I know one of the things that we definitely want to get to, because entrepreneurs like you are great visionaries. You think about the future. So I think our artists may have a good grasp of what you're talking about, and I hope you vision this, and especially with some photos and things we'll share. But now let's step back a minute, and where do you want to go with this? Let's talk vision a moment. Because I know you probably, sleep 3 hours a night and you think 6 hours about a vision or something. So talk about that with us. This is exciting. This is very exciting what you're doing.
Yeah, we've got a small goal of world domination in this case.
That's surprising to me at all.
Yeah, we want to see like 500 locations in the next 5 to 7 years.
All right.
Across the US. And then
Wow.
my co-founder, Paola Ibarra, she's from Mexico City. So we want to expand into Mexico and the LATAM market,
Right.
up to Canada. We've already made some inroads into the UK market. We've got some conversations happening. And then, of course, New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, of course.
So I've got an excuse to go home.
Yeah, that's right. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
but I mean, I've had a lot of different businesses in the past. So, I've been a technology entrepreneur for the last 10 years, but I've had other businesses prior to that. So another business that I had before we got into technology, my brother and I were selling sports supplements online. And so we'd make a number of different brands of supplements and sell them online. And, we'd send that up to 1,200 orders a day. So it was quite a high volume, small business. And we could have used a solution in our last business.
Right.
So I just look at my journey and the different things I've done, and Lowloff would have been fantastic for a number of different ventures. So, I mean, I think there's an opportunity to really disrupt commercial real estate, in this country and abroad, because the industry is very old. It's very set in its ways. I mean, as an example, we've found out it's faster to buy new locations than it is to lease them. So for us to go into a lease, we've got to spend, a couple of months negotiating. And the properties we are currently leasing, we have leases in the pipeline. They're all the same, but they're all different. So it's the same basic thing. We're going in, we're paying the money to use the space. But, our lease here at the Rogers location's 31 pages. Our Phoenix one's 45. Our Miami one's 66. But they're all essentially the same thing, but they all take a lot of time. So I think that part of the industry is a little bit broken. And I think, our solution, while it may not translate across into the larger tenants, we're finding large companies are interested in taking space with us, having a small footprint close to their customers, partly for the proximity and also the ease of transaction. I mean, a member or a new potential member can come, do a tour, sign up that day. They can even move in the same day if they want. So there's no long negotiations with lawyers and redlining leases and things. And then they can leave quickly as well. So they're not locked in. So we've really introduced a ton of flexibility into the commercial leasing market.
I was recently at a healthcare conference, and one of the speakers said, and it was a great conference supported locally here with our focus, with a focus on healthcare, improving healthcare. And one of the speakers said, healthcare industry is not going to change the industry. Entrepreneurs, people with new ideas, different thinking would change the industry. And I thought that was a pretty powerful statement. You're saying the same thing, that the industry is broken, and someone with new ideas, different thinking of technology background is going to change it. And that is what really we need. We need people like you and others looking at these industries that are broken, and how do we get it done quicker, faster, better, and move forward. And it's really the consumer wins on this, correct? I mean, the consumer is the winner here.
Yeah, exactly. The consumer, small business market. Small business is the backbone of any economy.
Yes.
And if you can help grease the wheels and make life easier for them, the consumer's going to win as well, because they'll have better access to products and services in a more timely manner. And I think you're right. Like it's often people from outside an industry can disrupt an industry because we're not blinded by how the industry works. So, we kind of came into the commercial property space with our own ideas, and we didn't realize it wasn't available. Our intention was to find the 5,000 square feet for a year.
Right.
We didn't know.
And you couldn't find it, yeah.
That's not an option generally.
Yeah.
Where you have to carve off the back of someone else's big warehouse. So I think, people in the industry can be constrained by the dogma of the industry, and it's been this way for so many years.
Right.
And changes can often just be small incremental changes.
Right.
That's why we're excited.
Yeah, sure.
And it's funny talking to industry experts. They say, "Oh, why didn't someone else think of this? Why didn't we think of this?"
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's actually quite a simple concept.
Yeah, yes, wonderful. 500 locations in the U.S. And then all these other countries outside the U.S. What a great vision you have. And if I believe you're going to make it happen, you and your team. I believe you'll do it, and we want nothing but the best for you. And I hope someday I can say I talked to this guy when they had just a few locations, and now look what you're doing, and you're really going to change the whole world around this supply chain and delivery and just in time, all of that. Because that system's broken. We found that during the pandemic. How broken that was. And okay, now we have to sum up and close. And this is how I like to close this. And you can say anything else you want to say too. But one of the things, sitting across the table from an entrepreneur, I really want to know your insights about in your advice to other entrepreneurs, because we're going to market this to entrepreneurs. Okay, we have to, along with all of the other guests that we market this to. But talk to people like you. Okay, tell us about it. What's your advice?
Probably the biggest one is don't take no for an answer. It's a rewarding journey, but it's often quite a challenging journey as well. Mm-hmm. The life of an entrepreneur has a lot of ups and a lot of downs and a lot of uncertainty. I think the key is to be clear on the vision, and you've just got to have that kind of spark inside yourself to believe that you can actually make it happen, even if you don't know how it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of unknowns out there, but the key to my success so far has just been, pointing in a direction, getting knocked down, get back up, and just keep going. So you just need to keep going. Yeah. Don't take the knocks too seriously. Right. See if you can learn something from them. Mm-hmm. But it's really, you got to have the blinders on and just keep going. Yeah. Get back on the horse. Yeah. It's a relentless pursuit. and you never know what's coming. Yeah. But, yeah. So I'd say try and find ways to stay positive. Mm-hmm. That's a big help. I meditate. I've done transcendental meditation for a number of years. Mm-hmm. I found that's really good to clear my head and for problem solving. Mm-hmm. And I read a lot of books. At the moment, I'm reading Ray Dalio's Principles, and I'm finding that very insightful. So I find I get little bits off different people and off books, but any way you can stay positive. Surround yourself with good people, and you have to get pretty good at sort of weeding people out. Mm-hmm. And just push. It takes a push, because I remember when I landed in the US, I landed at a place called Rocket Space. It was like a curated community of startups. It wasn't an incubator, but we chose that place because Uber started their Spotify, Hootsuite, Supercell. They had like 18 unicorns, which for anyone who doesn't know, it's a company worth in excess of $1 billion. They came out of that one environment. And I remember sitting down with the founder one time, and he was saying, finding product market fit is the key to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's like squirting a fire hose against a wall. It's all the water's blowing back in your face. You can't really see what you're doing. But when you find that gap in the wall, the water all goes through, and then everything becomes very clear. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of an entrepreneur's journey. Yeah. Sometimes you can't exactly see, where the gaps are in the wall. Mm-hmm. But as long as you just keep pushing in that direction, you'll find them eventually. Mm.
That's great advice. And I know the entrepreneurs and people that want to be entrepreneurs are listening. That's encouraging to them. Any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, we're just excited to be in this region. Mm-hmm. Really appreciative that you invited us onto the podcast. And really just want to be, a resource for small companies to sort of get going and provide that ecosystem that they feel like they're supported, and they don't have that pressure that they would otherwise have if they committed to a long-term lease. So part of what we're trying to do is create an environment for companies to collaborate as well. So a place that people want to come, hang out, bounce ideas off others, and you have those kind of happy little collisions, have events, and feel like it's a nice place to hang out, a nice place to run their business. So it's really supporting the growth in this region and eventually other regions as we expand.
Brendan Howe, thank you. This has been such a great conversation. In fact, I've been looking forward to this for a long time since I visited your place and communication with many of your people. We only wish the best for you and your company. We want to keep in touch. We want to hear more, and maybe someday we can come out and we can chat at your place, and we can talk about your growth and what else you're going to be doing. But we know you'll be successful. Thank you for coming to Arkansas. We're glad to have you in Northwest Arkansas. As I mentioned, we only want the best for you. So thank you so much for listening and watching today. And you can find us on on Spotify, on Apple, YouTube, and of course our website. So thank you. We appreciate our guests so much. We'll make sure we post all the information, how you can get in touch with Lowloff, and how you can. We'll also add an article to this with more information. But again, thank you for being here. It's been a great morning with you.
Thank you for having me on the podcast. Okay. And we're very happy to be in Northwest Arkansas and to be part of this ecosystem in this community.
All right, great. Thank you, everyone for attending, and thank you again. Have a wonderful day.